We're like these people standing here, and the rain is coming down, and the rain is the inequities for consumers. But the thing we stand under is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which provides coverage for us. It is a wonderful thing. I am so grateful for this act and finding it, because this is what has helped me when I was trying to deal with the credit reporting agencies. I didn't know the law. I didn't understand. And so this video, as the one before, is basically about the law and the importance of the fair credit law. The law in itself gives us the legal grounds and the necessary verbiage to try to hold the credit reporting agencies in check. I created a playlist on my channel. It's called Federal Law Protecting Consumers. And I'm going to put these in there, the actual law, in that playlist. And I'm not going to read the whole Fair Credit Act. It's very long. But what I want to do is I put the index and things there for you to see, and the URL, so you can download it, the file yourself, because truly it is what saved me in the 90s. This is the title for the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and I have included this URL for you to be able to download the PDF. This is the table of contents of the Fair Credit Act, Fair Credit Reporting Act as it's actually called. And you can see the various sections of the law. Requirements relating to information contained in consumer reports. That's section 605. And I like 605A is identity theft prevention, fraud alerts, active duty alerts. So you can see the law is there with provisions to help us. Unfortunately, many times the credit reporting agencies didn't adhere to the law, and so they found themselves in lawsuits and things, and consumers fighting with Congress to get additional revisions to the law to give us more protection. But it truly helped me in the 90s when I was struggling against the credit reporting agencies. And I think it is a wonderful thing. Even with its flaws, it is something that has grown through the will of the people to help protect the people. I included this section. This is the first part of the law. This is the short title, section 601. But I thought the section 602, which is Congressional Findings and Statement of Purpose, was just so relevant. It says accuracy and fairness of credit reporting. The Congress makes the following findings. The banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. Inaccurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency of the banking system, and unfair credit reporting methods undermine the public confidence, which is essential to the continued functioning of the banking system. An elaborate mechanism has been developed for investigating and evaluating the credit worthiness, credit standing, credit capacity, character, and general reputation of consumers. Consumer reporting agencies have assumed a vital role in assembling and evaluating consumer credit and other information on consumers. There is a need to ensure that consumer reporting agencies exercise their grave responsibility with fairness, impartiality, and respect for the consumer's right to privacy. So you see, this was the original disclosure statement in the very beginning when the Fair Credit Act was being developed. So you see that these needs have not changed, but even though the act was there, many of the credit reporting agencies still would not adhere. The Fair Credit Act is not new. As you can see here, I added the legislative history as to when the act was put in place and the various changes. And it doesn't cover the ones that are recent from 2017, which changed the idea about lanes, and the change in the Fair Credit Act that states you cannot put medical things on people's credit report until after 90 days, and some other things that have changed, and the new free credit freeze that you can put on your report to prevent just the onslaught of identity theft. So as you can see, it started in 78, the various modifications and things that have come along the way from the demand of consumers. The Fair Credit Act keeps the agencies in check. This is the back page of the Fair Credit Act that I downloaded from the PDF, and we're going to move from this Fair Credit Act to the summary that has just been issued due to the new changes with the freezes and things that have come about. So the next section we're going to go through is the new summary that just came out from the FTC. This is the beginning of the summary. As you can see, it comes from the Federal Trade Commission. Here's the link here at the bottom, but you can also find it on consumerfinance.gov, learn more section as well. And the first paragraph here in the summary of our rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it lets you know that this act also takes care of the 3 major credit reporting agencies, but also these smaller agencies that handle medical records, rental history, bad checks. So if there are fraudulent things on their agency records as well, you can file a complaint against them to get that corrected. And the first bullet item, we're going to touch on just the bullet items here. You find that number 1 in the bullet items is you must be told if information in your file has been used against you. Say, for instance, you get a denial letter. You need to contact the agency that did the credit report. It should be on the denial letter, and contact that particular agency, whether it's Equifax, TransUnion, or whoever, and have them give you a copy of the report so you can see if there was inaccurate information on there. You have a right to learn what is in your file. In many cases, this disclosure will be free, as it states here in the last line, and you are entitled to a free file disclosure if a person has taken adverse action against you because of information in your credit report, you are a victim of identity theft, and placed a fraud alert in your file. Your file contains inaccurate information as a result of fraud. You are on public assistance. You are unemployed but expect to apply for employment within 60 days. And the next bullet item states you have a right to ask for a credit score. A credit score is a numerical summary of your credit worthiness. That score is based on a mathematical equation, not whether you're married or divorced or anything like that. No, it's based on a mathematical equation. But many credit agencies charge for that score. You have a right to dispute incomplete or inaccurate information. This is key. This is what changed in 2017. If your identity information in your file that is if you identify information in your file that is incomplete or inaccurate and report it to the consumer reporting agency, the agency must investigate unless your dispute is frivolous. And what you want to take into consideration, they're not just going to take the stuff off. Now they have to verify it. So if you have something on there and the creditor sends a document, not a computer printout, but an actual document showing that you entered into a contract with this consumer, then the debt will remain. Consumer reporting agencies must correct or delete inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable information. And that has to be done within 30 days. That goes back to my first statement in the beginning. They sent me a printout from some company. It wasn't no contracts, wasn't nothing with my name on it, and I had never lived in that city. They would have to take that off because they have to have verifiable information showing the debt is yours. Consumer reporting agencies may not report outdated negative information such as debts that are over 7 years old or bankruptcies that are over 10 years old. They have to take that off now. Access to your file is limited. Cannot just anyone access your credit file. It has to be like a creditor or insurer or an employer, landlord, or some other legitimate business. You must give your consent for reports to be provided to employers. A consumer reporting agency may not give out information about you to your employer or potential employer without your written consent given to the employer. You may limit pre-screen offers of credit and insurance you get based on information in your credit report. And here at the bottom, it gives you how to opt out of that. Now, the next part under this same section says the following FCRA, Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act, right applies with respect to nationwide consumer reporting agencies. All of them now can give you a security freeze, not just an alert. A freeze and alert are two different things. You have a right to place a security freeze on your credit report, which will prohibit consumer reporting agencies from releasing information in your credit report without express authorization. The next bullet item here is you may seek damages from violators. You could actually sue these credit reporting agencies who violate the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Identity theft victims, active duty military personnel have additional rights. So you can go to consumerfinance.gov to learn more. And then I added this screen here. It lists the businesses here on the left, and it lists the agencies that govern those entities. So this is just some useful information for you. This law is so relevant, and it's a wonderful thing, and it's gone through many revisions. The consumers have gone through much pain and suffering as modifications have continually been made to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. But at least we have something. We have much more than we had 5 or 6 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. So it's wonderful for the new changes that have come about in 2017 and the new ones that have come out this year as far as the credit freeze. So please know your rights. Know your rights. As I said in my other video about the actual the federal law that governs debt collectors, in my last slide I mentioned the fact that they will use the law against you because you don't know the law, and they will count on that. So know what your rights are. You know, when in doubt, go online and search it out and find out, because there are laws that will help you. Thank you so much for visiting my channel, and have a great day.